Hello everybody. Today we are going to talk about the passive voice, forma jövőpróra, nakone tashme, nakone score. So the key competence about this topic are to form correctly passive voice using the rule learned. Identify the use of passive voice. Complete the sentences using present passive voice, and complete the sentences using past passive voice. So the key words about this topic are the verb to be, is, are in present, or was, were in past. Now we are going to explain the use of the passive voice. Passive voice is used when the person who carries out the action is unknown, unimportant or obvious from the context. We use the passive voice when the action itself is more important than the person who carries it out, as in news headlines, newspaper articles, format notice instruction, or advertisements, etc. Passive voice is used when we want to make statement more polite. And the last one, passive voice, is used when the agent is often omitted in the passive sentences when the subject of an active sentence is one of the following words: people, one, someone, somebody, they, he, or etc. Now the changing from active into passive. The first here are three steps that we use into passive. So the object of the active sentence becomes the subject of the passive sentence. Here is the illustration of the diagram. So the object here moves into subject. The second rule, the verb change from active form into passive form, the appropriate tense of the verb to be. So as we mentioned before, in present is, are, or in past was, were. And the main verb goes in past participle. You know that if they are regular verb, they take the ed form, or if they are irregular verbs, they change their form. So you can see the verb to be and the verb in past participle. And the last one, the subject of the active sentence becomes the agent of the passive. We introduce the agent with by plus the person, or with the thing or the instrument. And here you can see also the diagram. So the subject becomes the agent of the passive form. So the whole sentence changed in this way. So the structure of passive voice in present simple. In active sentences we have got subject. In this sentence we have take Mary, subject, verb, cooks, and the subject, dinner. So the verb cooks, as you can see, is in present simple. So, and the changes of this sentence into the passive goes in this way. The object, dinner, the verb to be plus the past participle of the main verb. So in this case, the verb to be is because it's in present, and the verb cooked in past participle. Then we put the subject that we introduce with by, in this case, by Mary. So Mary cooks dinner. Dinner is cooked by Mary. This was the structure of the present passive. The structure of the past passive. In active sentences we have got again the subject Mary. The verb in this sentence is in past simple. You know that the verb cook is regular and goes cook. And the object dinner So the verb in this sentence, cooked, is in past simple. So this sentence changed into passive by the object dinner plus the verb to be plus the past participle of the main verb. The verb to be in this case goes was, and the verb in past participle, the main verb in the past participle, that goes cooked. And again we introduce the subject by the word by. So dinner was cooked by Mary. Now let's turn back to the use of passive, but this time with the introduction of some examples. So once again, we use passive voice when the person who carries out the action is unknown, unimportant, or obvious from the context. The flat was painted, so it's not important who did the action, but important is that the flat was painted and we don't want to know who did it. Or the burglar was caught last night. So it's obvious that the police caught the burglar, that we know by general everyday things that police caught the burglars. When the action itself is more important than the person who carries it out, as in news headlines, newspaper articles, formal notice, says instruction, advertisement, etc. 3 people were seriously damaged in a car accident last night. So, as you can see, the sentence, it may be a newspaper article, news headlines, and things like that. When we want to make statements more polite, the kitchen window was broken. It is more polite than saying you broke the window. So you say to someone something was done, and obviously you are saying to him or her that he or she has done the action. And the last one, the agent is often omitted in the passive sentence when the subject of the active sentence is one of the following words: people, one, someone, somebody, they, he, etc. They will refurbish their apartment next month. Their apartment will refurbishment next month. So they, the subject in this sentence, is it omitted in the sentence. So the last one, homework. You have got 2 exercises. The first one, you are going to fill the verb to be, am, is, are, or was, or were in past simple into the empty spaces. And exercise number 2, that is divided into 2 exercises. The first one, you are going to transform the sentence from active into passive. In the first one, in present passive, and in the second one, in past passive. So that was the topic for today's lesson. Hope that you enjoy the lesson and I was clear in what I said. For everything that it is unclear for you, please write in my private number and I will give you back responses for all of them. Thank you and have a nice